When the wife prepares an unusually lavish dinner, her husband thinks it is affection, while she quietly watches him pretend nothing is wrong. Just as they are about to eat, the mistress calls. He leaves the table to comfort her, promising to come over soon. When he returns, he lies that the call was from a client. She does not expose him, calmly saying his mother's birthday dinner is arranged. Then he claims the company still has work to handle and he needs overtime. But the wife knows he is going to the mistress. Watching him leave, she knows his mother's birthday dinner will soon bring his comfortable days with the mistress to a complete end. She remembers marrying the husband at 10 years ago, while her friends thought she was wasting her wealthy family's future on a poor man. Even her grandfather opposed the marriage, warning that she was abandoning her family business for a man with nothing. For him, she gave up her place as the family heir and everything her family built, choosing only to stay by his side. Only now does she realize that in the world he built, there has never been a place left for her. She picks up the old letter from her grandfather, which says the family has always kept a board seat for her, and she can return any time. Then she finally calls her grandfather, and tells him that after 10 years away, she wants to come home. Soon, her lawyer friend tells her the husband is preparing to transfer 15% of the company's shares to the mistress. The lawyer says the agreement takes effect 5 days after the mistress's due date, so the wife realizes he will wait for the baby, then soon after discard her penniless. Then the mother-in-law calls in a commanding tone, saying the husband will bring an important guest and demanding a main table seat. After the call, the wife confirms the important guest is the mistress and decides to confront the husband that day, with her lawyer friend attending with all the files. Moments later, the wife returns to her family company and calmly tells the front desk she is the chairman's granddaughter, here for her grandfather. Her grandfather rushes out to see her, his scolding hiding deep concern because he has been waiting for her return for 10 years. Then her grandfather brings her to the office he kept ready, where she sees their old photo still carefully displayed inside after all these years. Seeing this, she apologizes for once breaking with him over love and turning away from her own family. But her grandfather does not blame her, saying if she is happy, no one is happier, and if not, he will be her strongest support. When she offers to start from the bottom, her grandfather says the chairman's seat was kept for her, insisting she can handle it. Then he hands her the share transfer documents, saying her parents left her 34%, and his own shares will also become hers. However, she asks him not to announce her return yet, because she still has a difficult battle to fight. Her grandfather tells her the husband's business only survived because he secretly supported it for her sake, and now he is ready to help. But she refuses her grandfather's help, making it clear that this battle must be fought with her own hands. On the birthday dinner day, the husband notices that she has dressed beautifully, but she calmly says that as the daughter-in-law, she naturally needs to look proper. On the way, he says he will drop her at the hotel before picking up an important guest, and she asks if it is the one his mother mentioned. He lies without blinking, claiming the guest is only a business partner's sister, but the wife knows he is picking up the mistress and preparing to confront her. At the hotel, her lawyer friend says the share transfer agreement for the mistress must be signed before 3, and after the birthday dinner, he will take the mistress to notarize it. Because the mistress may give birth this week, he is rushing to secure the shares before the child arrives, but the wife knows he may never get that chance. At the banquet, the mother-in-law proudly claims the expensive setup was arranged by her successful son. Then she publicly mocks the wife for spending the husband's money on designer clothes and still failing to give the family a child. Then the husband's cousin arrives with his wife, and the wife recognizes him as the front man secretly holding 17% of the company shares for the husband. Watching them celebrate, the wife simply waits for everyone to arrive, ready to take them all down at once. At the mother-in-law's birthday dinner, the husband arrives with his pregnant mistress, and his mother immediately treats her as the honored guest. The mistress quickly offers a gift, but the mother-in-law says the child in her belly is the best birthday present, then mocks the wife for being childless. Then the wife receives a message from her lawyer saying everything is ready, but she calmly decides to wait and watch them first. Then the mother-in-law invites the pregnant mistress to join her in cutting the birthday cake in front of everyone. Seeing this, the guests realize the family is openly promoting the mistress and humiliating the wife in public. The wife sees the scheme clearly. They will present the mistress publicly, wait for the baby, transfer shares to her, then divorce the wife with nothing. When the husband's cousin tries to comfort her, she calmly exposes his illegal holding of 17% through offshore companies and warns him about the tax issue. He pretends not to know what she means, but when she names the 2 company registration numbers, he panics, and she tells him to sit quietly and watch. When she walks onto the stage, the husband fears she will cause trouble and tells her to go home first, promising to explain later. But the wife calmly asks which home he wants her to return to. Then she congratulates the mistress for no longer needing to hide, and says she can now stay beside the husband openly. The mistress pretends not to know who she is, so the wife introduces herself saying she is the husband's wife, though soon she will be his ex-wife. The husband quickly calls the mistress a guest and accuses the wife of making trouble, but she tells him not to treat her like a fool. The wife then reveals the mistress's former job, villa, luxury car, and license plate, proving she already knows everything. After exposing the husband's affair, the mother-in-law angrily orders the wife out, but she refuses to leave and says today is the day to settle 10 years of accounts. The guests begin watching the drama, criticizing the pregnant mistress for showing off in front of the wife and calling her shameless. The mother-in-law protects the mistress in front of everyone, calling her the family's real daughter-in-law and great contributor. Then the mother-in-law blames the wife for being childless, asking what is wrong with her son choosing someone fertile. The husband quickly stops his mother, knowing he is not ready to break with the wife yet, then claims the mistress is only a normal friend and asks the wife to leave first. Just then the wife's lawyer arrives and presents the mistress's pregnancy report, where the father line clearly shows the husband's name, leaving him stunned. The husband lies that her boyfriend was not home, so he only signed the report for her. Instead, the wife directly shows their photo and the words he personally wrote, proving he was waiting for the mistress and the child. Then she exposes the mistress's villa, her shops, and 3 years of monthly 80,000 transfers from the husband, proving she was never just a friend. The mistress finally speaks, claiming love cannot be forced, using the child as an unchangeable fact, and warning the wife to stop making trouble. The husband tries to calm her, saying he will explain at home, but she asks if he plans to finish the share transfer, then explain himself with the divorce agreement that leaves her with nothing. Then she congratulates the mother-in-law, saying the pregnant mistress will soon give her the grandson she wanted. The mother-in-law openly insults the wife, claiming her son was right to find another woman who could give birth. But the wife finally reveals the truth, saying the childlessness was never her problem. It was the husband's problem. She shows a medical report from years ago, proving the husband had fertility problems and weak sperm quality. Yet he made her wait 8 years. Now that he has recovered and had a child with the mistress, she is relieved she never had his child, because a man like him does not deserve to be a father. The husband's cousin's wife criticizes her for exposing everything in public without caring about the husband's dignity. But the cousin quickly stops his wife, warning that the wife has already discovered their own dirty secrets. The husband asks if she is trying to ruin him, but she calmly says he caused all of this himself entirely. After the mother-in-law keeps insulting her, the wife exposes that she always knew about the mistress, the asset transfers, and the divorce plan to leave her with nothing, then calls the whole family shameless. In front of everyone, the wife pulls out the divorce agreement, demanding legal property division, the return of $200 million, and a recalculation of company shares. The mistress immediately refuses, claiming the assets belong to her unborn son, while the husband insists the company was built by him alone. Hearing this, the wife asks if he has forgotten the $3 million startup money she gave him before the company ever existed. She lists every contribution, from writing company rules and revising bids to bringing in clients, making the company successful, and leaving him speechless. The guests finally understand the truth. The powerful husband built his fortune with his wife's help, then tried to erase her. The wife warns the husband that if he refuses, they can meet in court, while the mistress offers more money and tells her not to be greedy. Just then, the pregnant mistress suddenly feels pain and says she may be about to give birth. The husband panics and immediately blames everything on the wife. Seeing the chaos, the wife knows she cannot keep settling accounts today, so she decides to continue slowly another day. Before leaving, she politely apologizes to the guests, then gives the mother-in-law a birthday blessing filled with quiet sarcasm and sharp meaning. Watching the chaos unfold, she calmly realizes that their real show has only just begun from this moment. Outside, her lawyer friend praises her changed attitude, but the wife says she only woke up from a 10-year dream. Her lawyer friend says they will file the lawsuit tomorrow, and the husband will seek private mediation. But she says whether she agrees depends on his sincerity. As they prepare to leave, the cousin and his wife chase after her, begging her not to expose the offshore companies, or the tax issue could send them to jail. The cousin admits he only followed the husband's instructions, but the wife says whether he knew or not is for the tax bureau to decide. The cousin and his wife immediately call her sister-in-law and apologize, admitting they helped the husband hide things. But she says she is no longer their sister-in-law. Still, she gives them one chance, saying she can temporarily keep it quiet if they agree to her conditions. Her conditions are simple. First, stop calling her sister-in-law. Second, hand over every document and password for his 2 offshore companies. After a brief hesitation, the cousin's wife chooses to protect herself, and he agrees to hand over every password and document copy to the wife. The cousin does not want to betray his own cousin, but his wife reminds him that a man who abandoned his wife of 10 years would abandon them too. That night, the wife drinks with her lawyer friend to celebrate, and her lawyer friend agrees to join her family company as the future legal director. Meanwhile, videos from the birthday dinner spread across the internet, and this time, The husband completely loses face in public. Her lawyer friend warns that the mistress is not simple because she stayed too calm at the birthday dinner and will definitely retaliate. But the wife thinks that only makes things more interesting. At the hospital, the mistress fears the wife knows their entire plan, demands nothing go to the wife, and insists every asset belongs to her son, while the husband agrees. Then the husband's lawyer tells him that the wife has already filed the divorce lawsuit in court, and the evidence is very bad for him. The lawyer advises him to settle, because with the current evidence, his chance of winning is not high. The next morning, the wife wakes in her grandfather's home, where he has already prepared warm honey water for her hangover. The housekeeper reveals she cried to her grandfather all night, apologizing and acting like the hurt granddaughter she had hidden for years. Embarrassed, the wife wants to hide, but her grandfather gently comforts her, saying there is nothing shameful about acting spoiled with family. During breakfast, she decides to join the family company immediately, hoping to learn fast and reduce her grandfather's burden. Then the husband calls and says he wants to talk. The wife calmly agrees, since she is ready to return and collect her belongings. The mistress asks whether the wife has accepted settlement, but the husband says she is determined to fight the divorce lawsuit to the end. The husband wants to talk again after the wife calms down, but the mistress says he can give her only $30 million, not 1 cent more. When the husband admits the wife's lawyer friend will be hard to fight in court, the mistress angrily calls his entire legal team useless. The husband accuses the mistress of changing, and she admits it, saying she wants to cross class lines and never worry about money again. The husband realizes her past gentleness may have been an act, dropped after childbirth, but the mistress says loving him and his money do not conflict. Then the mistress reveals her ambition, saying regret is useless now, because even without marriage, his property will legally belong to her son. His mother insists on keeping the grandson while the mistress says a doctor confirmed after having their child, his fertility still hasn't recovered, making another child nearly impossible. The husband finally sees the mistress's true face, and realizes she has blocked every escape route he had. But the mistress coldly threatens that if he regrets his choice now, he will never see the child again in the future. His mother panics for the grandson, and urges him not to be foolish, telling him to accept the mistress's conditions, so he agrees to marry her after discharge. The mistress immediately demands 40% of the company's shares first, claiming she will not interfere in company operations, and only wants security for herself and her son. She says he once abandoned his wife for her, so he could abandon her for another woman, unless she holds real shares. The husband accuses her of calculating everything, but the mistress says she is not foolish like the wife, trusting only love. She wants long-term security through shares. The husband finally realizes the mistress calculated everything, but she calmly says this was his own choice, and since her son is his only heir, he has no choice left. Before he leaves, the mistress demands to see the share transfer agreement within 3 days, or she will not feel secure. As soon as the husband arrives at the company, his assistant reports that their biggest supplier has suspended all building material deliveries until the overdue balance is cleared. The assistant explains that if supplies stop, the Prezold apartment project will be delayed, with penalties conservatively starting at $80 million. The husband cannot understand why their biggest supplier, which had always prioritized them before, suddenly stopped supporting his company now. The assistant says the supplier had supported his company because of his wife, and now the chairman of that building material supplier is the wife herself. Only then does he remember the wife once introduced him to that supplier manager. But he still thinks she only made a casual connection. He still believes he maintained that supplier relationship himself, refusing to accept that a housewife could have such influence. Then the husband angrily calls her, asking what she has done, and she calmly admits she only cut off his building materials. When the husband questions her connection to the supplier chairman, she finally reveals she is the chairman's granddaughter, shocking him completely. Only then does he realize she is the chairman's granddaughter who once left home for a kept man, and that man was him. She mocks him for marrying her for 10 years, without knowing who she truly was, calling their marriage ridiculous. The husband blames her for hiding such an important identity, but she knows he only regrets losing her value, and mocks him that regret is useless now. But the husband refuses to admit regret, insisting that even without her and her family's building material supply, his company can still thrive. After the call, her lawyer friend guesses he must be furious. Then the wife tells her to prepare the divorce lawsuit and plans to meet other suppliers. At the dinner, the wife openly mentions her dispute with the husband, but says she will not let personal grudges cost the building material bosses money. The building material bosses think she wants them to cut off the husband's supplies, but the wife says she will not do that. Then she suggests that anyone still working with the husband's company should require payment before delivery, because he already owes her company 4 months of payments and has serious financial problems. The suppliers understand her warning, toast her respectfully, and begin seeing this heir of the biggest building material company as someone worth following. Soon the husband learns every supplier now demands payment before delivery, and even raising prices cannot change their minds. At this rate, his company will go bankrupt. The assistant reveals the wife recently met several major building material bosses, and the husband realizes she is pushing him toward ruin. When the assistant suggests talking to the wife because they were once married, the husband explodes and orders him to get out. At the company, employees whisper that the husband is trapped in pride and still refuses to apologize to the wife, so they may need new jobs soon. They mock him for marrying her for 10 years, without knowing she was the heiress of the biggest building material family who left home for him, calling him blind to real treasure. They keep mocking him for abandoning the wife who supported him, only to keep a clueless mistress, saying this downfall is exactly his karma. Hearing this, the husband still insists he did nothing wrong, and will never lower his head to beg the wife for forgiveness. Then the husband visits the supplier manager working under the wife, trying to use their 10 years of friendship to protect his supply chain. But the supplier angrily rejects him, mocking that he betrayed their company heiress after 10 years of marriage. So he has no right to discuss friendship. The supplier directly warns him that after offending their company heiress, his company can only wait for bankruptcy. Desperate, the husband asks what the wife wants before sparing his company, but the supplier mocks him for being stupid and tells him to get out. Just then the mistress calls, saying he has not visited the child for 2 days and must pick them up from the hospital today. Meanwhile, after hearing the manager's report, the wife realizes the husband has not given up and asks him to arrange a meeting with the bank president. When the manager warns that his company collapsing would cause huge impact, the wife calmly says she will take it over completely. After the husband arrives at the hospital, his mother learns the wife is the supplier company's only heir, and starts thinking about getting her back. But the mistress threatens that if they try to bring the wife back, she will leave with the child. His mother quickly comforts the mistress, saying she was only asking casually before the husband takes them home from the hospital. As soon as they get home, the mistress asks for the promised 40% share transfer agreement. But he explodes. Company is dying, yet she wants shares. The husband explains 40% of his materials come from the wife's company, while she united other suppliers to demand upfront payment, leaving them cashless. Worse, the bank demands a $30 million repayment and threatens to freeze assets, while the divorce trial begins in 2 days, and losing means giving her at least 30%. His mother suggests begging the wife, but the mistress says begging will only bring humiliation, because a wounded woman becomes even more ruthless. Then the mistress suggests he issue a challenge, asking the wife to compete fairly, instead of using schemes, using it as a delaying tactic. She says the challenge is not to beat the wife's company, but to make her loosen up until the current apartment project finishes. The husband realizes that once the apartment project is completed, he can revive the other 2 projects and slowly escape the wife's supplier company's influence. The mistress admits she knows he regrets choosing her, but she only cares that her son is his only child and that money secures her future. The mistress says once he survives this crisis, she will not care about outside women, making him realize she is the truly heartless one. Then the mistress orders the mother-in-law to learn postpartum meals and serve them in her bedroom. For the grandson, the mother-in-law can only swallow the humiliation, while the husband has no choice but to endure it too. Later, the husband arrives at the wife's company without an appointment, insisting on seeing her and refusing to leave until she meets him. After the receptionist reports it, the wife calmly agrees to see him, so the receptionist leads him to her office. Facing her new calmness, the husband brings up his past mistakes and their years of feelings, asking if she must destroy him. The wife says his payment period truly exceeded the contract, and while others might get chances, he will not, because giving him one would ruin her mood. When he asks what she wants, she says she wants to send him back 10 years and leave him with nothing. She asks if he ever considered her fate, if she were only an ordinary woman facing a billionaire husband who wanted to throw her away. Then the husband claims his success came from his own ability, then challenges her to remove the restrictions and compete with him fairly. He proposes that if he loses, he will sign the divorce agreement immediately and give her everything. But if she loses, she can only take $30 million and the villa before parting peacefully. The wife sees through his provocation and refuses, saying winners decide everything, and she has no need to prove her ability to him. She says he cheated, betrayed her 10 years, and since she is winning, she needn't compete. His apartment project has 1 month left. Finally, she declares once he can no longer hold on, she will take over his company completely, leaving him no chance to rise again. During the wife's divorce lawsuit, her lawyer reveals that the husband transferred assets through 2 offshore companies, shocking him and his lawyer in court. The wife's lawyer continues, revealing that over 3 years, he secretly transferred $320 million, including $210 million, into the mistress's personal account. The husband's lawyer panics, realizing the hidden asset transfer is extremely damaging, and asking why he never mentioned it. Then the wife's lawyer exposes his 3-year affair with the mistress and the baby boy she gave birth to this month. The husband's lawyer demands verification, claiming their evidence may have been obtained illegally. But the wife's lawyer says the bank records, offshore documents, and paternity test were legally obtained through official channels, including the bank, registration authority, and hospital. When the defense insists on verification, the wife's lawyer agrees, but immediately applies for asset preservation at the same time. She asks the court to freeze all accounts and related assets under the husband and mistress to prevent further transfer of marital property. The husband panics, knowing that if the assets are frozen, his company will be completely finished. But the judge believes the transferred amount is huge and finally approves the wife's asset preservation request. After the ruling passes, the husband tries to negotiate, but the wife says she promised to send him back 10 years, left with nothing. The husband raises his offer from $50 million and the villa to $100 million, demanding that the wife withdraw the lawsuit. But the wife says he spent over $200 million on the mistress, yet wants to dismiss her with $100 million. She does not need that money. The wife says she wants everything from him, but the husband insists her name is not on the shareholder list, so the company still belongs to him. Then the husband's lawyer urges him to admit defeat, warning they cannot afford more delays or the company will collapse first. Meanwhile, the lawyer friend reminds the wife that even if the court grants her some company shares, truly controlling the company will still be difficult. But the wife says it is not that troublesome, then calmly makes a phone call. She calls one of her father's friends and arranges a meeting to discuss the husband's company. After arranging it, she explains to her lawyer friend that the caller is the husband's company investor, holding 12%, while she already has the 17% from his cousin. The husband owns 61%, half of which she can get through divorce. Added to the 29%, her final shares will exceed 50%, meaning the ending was decided from the start. Back home, the mistress panics because the wife discovered the hidden $200 million, insisting it is her lifelong security and she will never return it. The husband says he can only give the wife everything she wants for now, save the company first, and remain the major shareholder with future profits. The mistress agrees to give shares, but firmly refuses to touch her own money, while the husband says he does not have enough and demands she pay part of it. The mistress insists on paying nothing, and her selfishness finally pushes the husband into a complete explosion. He grabs her and demands she transfer the money immediately, saying the company still has hope if he can settle with the wife. He threatens that if the company dies, he will die with her, forcing the terrified mistress to transfer the money. Helpless, the mistress finally transfers the $200 million back to the husband. Soon the husband offers half of the assets under his name and half of his 61% shares, asking her to sign the property division agreement. The wife questions why he is suddenly so cooperative, and he admits the company cannot afford more delay, but she says she has not played enough. The husband's lawyer says even a court ruling would be similar, and if the company goes bankrupt, she will get nothing. So after her lawyer friend confirms the contract has no problems, the wife agrees to sign it. After the wife signs, the husband demands she lift the blockade, but she says they must finalize the divorce first, since she is now his company's major shareholder and will not let herself lose money. After the husband leaves, the lawyer friend asks if she will let him go, but the wife says impossible because she promised to leave him with nothing. After the divorce is finalized, the ex-wife smiles happily, saying she is finally free and liberated, while the husband asks whether she misses their past. She says thinking of the past only makes her feel stupid, because her 10 years of youth and love were fed to a dog. Then she tells her ex-husband that, since she is already a company shareholder, he must notify everyone about tomorrow's shareholders meeting, where she has an announcement. The next day, the ex-husband introduces her to everyone as the company's second largest shareholder, but the wife tells them she is actually the largest shareholder, then immediately proposes removing her ex-husband as chairman and expelling him from the board. The ex-husband comes to her company, and she asks why he is here instead of staying at the hospital with the mistress. He says he has no right to ask for forgiveness, but still begs her to accept one final request. He wants to sell all the remaining 30% shares in his hands to her for only $3 million, shocking his cousin instantly there. The ex-wife remembers giving him $3 million in startup funds, then asks whether he wants to make amends or use the money to start his business again. His cousin urges him not to act impulsively, but the ex-wife calmly accepts this $3 million deal. At the hospital, the mistress wakes up and immediately demands the child, angrily asking what right they have to take her son. When the ex-husband arrives, the mistress calls him a liar and demands the child. But he says she cannot even move, so she cannot care for him. Then the mistress demands that he hand over the 30% company shares. But he coldly tells her the shares are gone, because he has already sold them. After learning he sold 30% of the company for only $3 million, the mistress completely breaks down, asking how she and the child will survive. He says she tried so hard to become his wife, so after she leaves the hospital, he will let her marry him properly. He promises that even if she is paralyzed, he will never abandon her, and their second half of life will become mutual torture. The mistress tells him she would rather die than marry him, and does not need his care. Then he tells his mother that 10 years ago his ex-wife gave him $3 million in startup funds, so selling her the shares for $3 million now repays what he owed. The mistress breaks down, screaming for them to get the money back because it belongs to her, but he coldly says she cannot move anyway. And once she gets tired of making trouble, she will naturally stop. Later, under the woman's restructuring, the company recovers. The ex-husband's nearly unfinished apartment project is delivered on time, and the new project sells out on launch day. Meanwhile, the family business and new company complete integration, forming a closed business loop, with combined market value exceeding $15 billion. Later, the mistress comes to the company in a wheelchair, forcing the ex-wife to see her and claiming her money and shares are gone. When the woman appears, the mistress curses her, accusing her of taking 30% of the company for only $3 million, saying it belonged to her son. The mistress threatens to expose everything online, so the woman immediately orders staff to arrange a live stream and spend money pushing traffic for her. Then she orders security to hold the mistress's wheelchair, forcing her to talk online until she has said enough before leaving. During the live stream, the mistress accuses the woman of stealing the shares and taking the money belonging to her and her son. But netizens quickly expose her as the mistress who destroyed someone else's marriage and almost forced the real wife to leave with nothing. Others reveal the shares were not stolen at all, because the ex-husband sold them himself, with notarization and public statements. But the mistress keeps insisting the money and shares should belong to her and her son, accusing the woman and ex-husband of tricking her together. The ex-husband arrives, but instead of dragging her away, he says if she wants to keep making trouble, he will stay and accompany her. Hours later, the ex-husband leaves with the mistress, while she curses them the whole way for deceiving her. Years later, she hears from her cousin that they are still torturing each other, living in pain every single day. As her grandfather grows older, the woman spends more time with him, letting him enjoy family happiness while cleverly avoiding his remarriage advice. Years later, she becomes chairwoman of 3 listed companies and ranks high on the National Female Business Leaders list. When asked her secret, she says, "Choose the right path, stay away from the wrong people, and never look back." Asked who she thanks most, she names the retired driver who revealed a secret that changed her life and pulled her out of the mud. Then she announces the company's next 5-year goal, reaching $100 billion in market value. Some people pass through life to help you grow, and some pain becomes your strongest armor once survived. At the next crossroads, may everyone become brighter. The story ends here. Thanks for watching.